Hey, you guys. So today we're going to be working on our multi-step equations. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do all of the even numbers with you. So if there's a particular even numbered problem you want to see me go over, feel free to fast forward till I get to that point, okay? I'm going to do the even numbers just all in order. Also, we're going to follow this list of steps. We're first going to take care of any distribution that needs to happen. Then we're going to combine our like terms, and then we're going to solve those equations. So using those steps, let's get started on number 2. So first distribute, oh, wait a second. There's no parentheses in here, so it looks like I don't have any distribution that needs to be done. So let's go to step 2, which is combine like terms. Looks like, now remember, you can only combine on one side of the equal sign at a time. So let's just think about the left-hand side first. Now looking for combining like terms right here, we've got a regular old negative 16, in other words, no variable there, and a regular old positive 8. So those are both what we call constants, no variables there. So let me combine the negative 16 and the positive 8. I'm going to just use my friendly calculator, and we'll go negative 16 plus 8. And it looks like that gives us negative 8. So I'll write negative 8. And now we haven't taken care of everything. We still have this 2k and this negative k. I'm going to kind of underline those a different way to show that those are different kinds of like terms. We know that the 2k and the negative k are like terms because they both have k's in them. So if I want to combine those, I have to think 2 minus, wait, how many k's are here? It's just 1k. So 2 minus 1 is going to give me 1k left. So I can write k or I can write 1k. It doesn't really matter. But it was a positive 1. 2 minus 1 gave me a positive 1. So I definitely need to write a plus sign right there. Okay, so that's the one side. And now looking at the other side of the equal sign, do I have any like terms over here? Yeah, we've got a negative 4 and a minus 1. So if I use my calculator and I do negative 4 minus 1, whoops, I put the minus sign instead of the negative sign. Negative 4 minus 1 is going to give me negative 5. So I'm going to bring down my 4k, and then I'm going to write my minus or my negative 5. That is supposed to be a k. I'm just getting messy here. All right. So now we have negative 8 plus k, or 1k, equals 4k minus 5. So now I have a situation where I have variables on both sides of the equal sign. Let's get them all on one side. You could subtract this k off, or you could subtract those 4k's off. I'm just going to subtract this guy. So 1k minus k, or 1k, and I'll do minus 1k on that side. These are going to cancel. I'm left with just a negative 8 over here. Here, 4 minus 1 gives me 3k's, and it's still minus 5. Okay, let's get rid of that minus 5. Because remember, we got to save that number that's there with the variable. We got to save that for last. So let's get rid of the minus 5 first. And we're going to get rid of it by doing the opposite, which is to add 5. And what we do to one side, we do to the other side of the equal sign. This goes away. Negative 8 plus 5, feel free to use those calculators if you want. It's going to give me negative 3, and that equals 3k. And now finally we have to get rid of the 3 because it's the only thing left there with the k, and we do need to get that k by itself. So the 3 is multiplying by the k right now, and the opposite of multiplication is, ta-da, division. Let's do that to both sides. These cancel out, and we're left with, let's see, that negative 3 divided by 3 is going to give us negative 1 equals, and all we have left over here is the k. So our answer is negative 1, and that's how you solve that one. Okay, let's go to the next one. On to number 4. Okay, so same steps. We would distribute first, but there's no distribution to be done. So instead, let's look for combining like terms. Okay, on the left-hand side, we have a constant and a variable. Nothing to combine there because they're different. On the right-hand side, we have a constant and a variable. So can we just combine this variable with that variable? No, we can't because they are on different sides of that equal sign. So it looks like there is no combining like terms to be done. So we're going to move to step 3, which is solve. So we do have variables on both sides, and we need to get them all on one side. We could add the 5a and bring them all over here, or we could add the 4a and bring them all over here. I'm going to try adding the 5a. So basically what I'm doing is I'm targeting this guy. I'm going to get rid of it. And what I do to one side, I also have to do to the other side. So plus 5a there. And now I just do the math. I'll bring my 1 down first. And now negative 4 plus 5 is going to give me a positive 1. And positive 1a is just the same thing as a. So you could think of that as a or 1a. And now we have negative 2 here. Now, the only thing keeping the A company over here is the 1. So let's get rid of that 1 by subtracting it. And we're going to get A equals -3. And boom, we are done with that one. Okay, let's go to number 6. All right, in number 6, and don't forget, if I'm going too fast or too slow, you can run ahead or skip back, whatever you need to do. Pause it and copy down the steps. That would be great. Okay, on number 6, let's look for like terms. Because there, again, step 1 distribution, there's no distribution here. So we're looking for like terms first on the left. Looks like we've got some constants here. In other words, some regular old numbers. So -10 plus 4, if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get a -6. What else do I have? It looks like I've got some terms with a b in them. So those are the same variables. I've got plus 3b minus 4b. So here's what I'm going to think. I'm going to think 3, in other words, positive 3, minus 4, which is going to give me a -1. So minus 1b. Or you could just say minus b. That would be the same thing. Okay, we got that one side simplified. Let's look at our other side. Anything to combine here? Are they like terms? They both have b's, so they are both like terms. Now I can't combine these b's with those b's because they're on a different side of the equal sign. So I'm going to cover those back up and just think about these guys. -10 plus 8 is -2. And those were b's, so I'm going to put my b here, and I'll put my equal sign, and it's a little crickety, but we've got -6 minus 1b, that's a b there if you can't tell, equals -2b. Okay, next step. Once again, we are left with variables on both sides of the equal sign. Now I have to bring them all to one side, and you know what I want to do? I want to leave this guy alone, because if I got rid of this guy, then this side of the equal sign would be empty, and that's not really helpful. So instead of getting rid of this guy, let's get rid of this guy. So I'm going to go plus 1b and plus 1b over here. And let's see, -2 plus 1 equals -1. So now I have -1b over here. And I'm going to bring down my -6. So these went away, and I'm bringing down my -6. Okay, we're getting real close now. We just have to get the b by itself. So to get rid of the -1, let's divide by it. And -6 divided by -1 equals +6 equals b. 6 equals b. Okay, next problem, let's do number 8. Okay, once again, is there any distribution? No, there is no distribution. There will be soon, but not yet. So we're going to move on to combining like terms. I'm just going to focus on one side at a time. Let's focus on the left side of the equal sign. It looks like there's nothing to combine with that -24 because it's the only regular number. It's the only constant. But let's combine the 12m with the extra m here. So you have 12 m's here, and how many more m's here? You have one more, right? So 12 plus 1 is going to give you 13m. And don't forget your -24 here is still there. The 13m is positive, so we're going to put a plus sign there. And then it's going to equal, let's go ahead and combine like terms on the other side now. 4m plus 11m, oh yeah, that's going to be 15m. Okay, now it's kind of a lot like what we just did above here. We've got variables here and variables there. We don't want to get rid of this one because then that side of the equal sign would be empty and that would be annoying. So let's get rid of this one instead. So subtract off that 13m and subtract it off from the other side also. That guy goes away. We bring down the -24. And over here, we're just going to be left with 2m. And now to get rid of the 2, we divide. Right? Now what you're seeing here is multiplication. So we're going to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And you're left with -12 equals m. And you're done with that one. Okay, let's keep going. Number 10. Guess what? We finally get to use step 1, distribution. All right, so where are we going to distribute? We're going to distribute where the parentheses are. So the -17, and make sure you always remember to grab that sign from in front of the number. So the -17 is going to distribute to the 1, and it's going to distribute to the 15n. Now, if you were thinking you were going to combine like terms real quick, make sure you don't do that. And that's one of the reasons that we put distribute before combine like terms. You can't combine the -14 with the -17, and I'll tell you why. Because the -17 is being multiplied by everything in those parentheses. And if you remember your PEMDAS, you have to do the multiplication before you do the adding and subtracting. So that's why you have to do this distribution first. So I'm going to bring down my -14, and now let's distribute. Negative 17 times 1 is negative 17, so I'll just write that. And then negative 17 times 15, I have no idea, but that's what calculators are for. So negative 17 times 15, it looks like we get negative 255. So I'm going to say minus 255n. Okay, and then on the other side, there's nothing to combine and nothing to distribute, so let's just bring it down like that. Okay, now looking over it again, is there anything on the left side that we can combine those like terms? Looks like we can actually combine the negative 14 minus 17. Well, go figure. We're going to combine those after all. So negative 14 minus 17, I'm using my calculator over here, and we're getting negative 31. Minus 255n equals negative 3n minus 31. Okay, so we have variables over here and we have variables over here. We want them only on one side. It doesn't matter what side we choose. I'm gonna get rid of this variable term. We're gonna get rid of it by doing the opposite. Right now it's subtracting, so we're gonna add. Okay, so we added that guy, it went away, but what we do to one side, we also have to do to the other. Make sure you line it up with its like term. In other words, we're lining it up with the other n, right? Don't line it up under the 31, that won't work as well. So we need to know what negative 3 plus 255 is, and that's going to give us 252 n's. Now I bring down my minus 31. Over here, I still have a minus 31. So we've got negative 31 equals 252n minus 31. Now what do I get rid of first? This is just a two-step equation. Don't get rid of the variable number first. The number stuck to the variable is what I'm trying to say there. Leave it for later. Get rid of this guy first. So negative 31 you get rid of by adding 31. We're just going to cancel these out because they equal 0. Over here, I don't want to cancel those out because I need some kind of number on this side of the equal sign. So I'm just going to put the 0, okay? 0 equals 252n. And now you have to divide off the 252. What are you going to get? That's right, it's going to be 0. So 0 equals n. That one got a little messy, but it's done. Y'all have any questions? Make sure you ask us. I am not done, though. We still have to do the back side of the page. And if I'm going too fast, again, rewind, pause, get those steps copied down, okay? All right, number 12. Is there any distribution here? Step 1, distribute. Oh, there's definitely distribution. Let's distribute that 15 to the a into the 12. So 15 times a is 15a. Plus 15 times 12, I'm using my handy dandy calculator over here. I got 180. So plus 180 equals, and then I'm just going to copy all this down. I'm going to bring it down. 19a plus 100. Okay, once again, variables on both sides. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to try getting rid of this guy. So minus 19a, just subtract off that whole term, and then make sure you line it up with its like terms over here. In other words, let the a's line up, okay? You don't want to subtract the 19a from this one. Those go away, and you're left with negative 4a plus 180. I didn't save myself enough room, but I'm going to squeeze it in there, and then 100 over here. Okay, cool. Now, let's see. It's a regular two-step equation. We got to subtract the 180 off from both sides. We're going to be left with negative 4a equals, this is going to be negative 80. And then once you have this, let's divide off the negative 4. So divide by negative 4, a equals 20. And you are done with that one. All right, and this is how it's going to pretty much go. Let's keep on going to the next one, number 14. So is there any distribution here? Absolutely, there's a ton of it. So let's distribute that negative 10, make sure you remember the negative sign, to the 6 into the 2m. So negative 10 times 6 is negative 60. Negative 10 times 2m is negative 20m equals, we got to distribute here also, 8 times 1 and 8 times 6m. So 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6m is positive 48. And that was an m there, so we're going to put an m here. Okay, distribution check. Next up, we have to combine like terms, but there are no like terms, so let's go on to step 3, solve. We have variables on both sides once again. This time, let's get rid of this one. You could just as easily get rid of that one. I'm just choosing this one because I've got to choose one. So this one's going away, and I'm going to add 20 to the other side. And now I'm going to bring things down. Negative 60 is all that's left over here. Don't forget those negatives. And then we have 8 over here. And you add those up, and you're going to get plus 68m. Okay, let's keep going. It looks a lot like a regular two-step equation now, and it really is. You're going to leave the number that's with the variable alone, save it for last. Get rid of the number that's farther from the variable first. So subtracting the 8 from both sides, you're going to get negative 68 equals 68m. Now let's get rid of the 68 by dividing. Divide 68, and we're going to get negative 1 equals m. And that one is done. All right, feel free to pause and catch up on writing down those steps if you want to. I'm going on to number 16. All right, should we distribute first? Let's do it. 3 times negative 4 and 3 times negative 8v. So 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 3 times negative 8v is negative 24v. And that equals, let's see, 12 times negative 6 is going to be 72, a positive 72. And we got to put that v on there. Negative 12 times 1 is going to be minus 12. Okay, so again, variables on both sides. Let's get rid of this one. You could just as easily get rid of that one, but I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to add 24 to both sides. 24v, that is. So I add 24v over here. I'm lining up my v's. And you're going to get 96v. And I'm going to bring down my minus 12 here and my minus 12 there. Okay, so you leave the number that's with the variable for last. So get rid of your minus 12 first. The opposite of minus 12 is plus 12, so that cancels out. This one, we're not going to cancel it out because we need something over here, so we're just going to put what it equals, which is 0, and then bring down our 96v. And then to get rid of that 96, we got to divide by 96. And you're left with 0 equals v, and you're done with that one. Okay, guys, we got 2 left. Let's do it. Number 18. Step 1, distribute. Is there any distribution to be done here? Yep, let's do it right here. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative x. So think 2 times negative 1 is going to be negative 2, right? So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then there was an x in there also, so we're going to put the x there. Minus 3. Was there any distribution over here? No, let's just bring those down. All right. Step 2, combine like terms. Do we see any like terms on the left? Nope, we got a constant, and then we have a variable, so no like terms there. Over here, oh yeah, we got a couple constants. We got this 2 and this negative 3. Neither of those guys have a variable, so we can combine those together. So let's do that. 2 minus 3 is going to give us negative 1, and I'll bring down the minus 2x. And over here, we've still got the 13 plus the 5x. All right, we've got variables on both sides, so let's get rid of one or the other. We'll get rid of the 5x. How about that? So subtract 5x from both sides. Now I'm lining it up with my other x's. That goes away. I'm left with 13 equals negative 1 minus 7x. Okie doke. Now it's a regular two-step equation. You're going to save the number that's together with the variable for last, so get rid of the negative 1 first. Get rid of it by adding it. You're left with 14 equals negative 7x. How do we get rid of that negative 7? That's right, we're going to divide it. And we're going to be left with negative 2 equals x. Okay, folks, last problem, number 20. Step 1 is distribute, and there's some distribution here. So let's go ahead and bring down our 2, and then we'll start distributing. 5 times 2a is going to be 10a. It's a positive 10a, so I kept the plus there. And then 5 times a positive 2 is a positive 10, so I'm going to write plus 10. And that equals, let's see, 8 times a is going to be 8a. And 8 times negative 2 is going to be negative 16, so I'm going to write minus 16. Okay, we're well on our way. Are there any like terms to combine? I see a couple. So over here on this side, we've got a couple constants. We have 2 and 10. Those are just regular old numbers. There's no variables with them. I chose to bring down the 10a first. I don't know why I did that, but you're welcome to write the 12 first if you'd rather. But 2 plus 10 is 12. So you should have a 10a and a 12 over here. And over here, you just got to bring down your 8a and your minus 16. Okay, we got variables on both sides. I'm going to choose to get rid of the 8a first. If you'd rather get rid of the 10a, then do it. Totally fine. 10 minus 8 gives me 2a plus 12 still. And over here, we have negative 16 left. Don't forget that negative sign. Okay, now you have your regular two-step equation. Save the number this with the variable for last. Get rid of the 12 first by subtracting it. 2a is all that's left over here, equals, let's see, negative 16 minus 12. I'm going to use my calculator, and it's negative 28. And now you divide by 2 to get rid of the 2, and you're going to get a equals negative 14. Can you guys see that? Looks like you can. A equals negative 14. And you are done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was helpful. Any help you might need, ask your teachers. We are here for you, and we love to help you. Bye.